Hey everyone, it's Andy from Andy Stan Codes. So today I'm just going to talk about htmlx. I've heard a lot of people talk about it. Developers, some people like it, some people hate it. People who hate it are normally the people who are front-end developers who go, "Oh, it's really bad and things are not tested properly, and it's one massive long JavaScript file and things like that." And I'm the sort of person that until I try it for myself and get to my own opinions on it, I don't like to believe what people say, good or bad. So I thought to myself, let me try it out. Can it actually replace JavaScript? It's possible. The question is, can you get companies to agree to use it? I can definitely see developers being more productive with it, especially back-end developers. Imagine a scenario where your development team is split out into front end and back end, and you need to get a button to now make a request to a different API endpoint, for example. But the problem is, the front end developer, Mr. Joe, now is on holiday and he's not back for 2 weeks. Nobody else knows how to the React code base, for example, or Angular code base or whatever. So now you're waiting for him to get back. Until he gets back, you can't do anything. Things like that. I mean, the idea that the backend developer can control the UI in that way, I think is pretty impressive. And like I said, I played around with it, and I really like it. I must say, I really like it. I've only just touched the surface. So my thought process now is, can you actually build sort of components, like sort of server-side components with it? It'll be tricky, but like I say, I'll come back with it if I can actually build sort of to replicate server-side components. That would be really cool. But I'll show you what I've done, and let me know your thoughts. Do you think it'll replace JavaScript? Let me know in the comments. I'll see you on the other side. Okay, so here we have what I'm going to try doing is building I've actually built it. I'll just walk you through what I've done, rather than you spending time watching me build the app out. So it's a Django backend, HTML frontend. Couple of Docker files that just load up the copy the directory over. I'm using Poetry, so it installs all the Django dependencies I need, changes the current working directory, nothing special. This is not a Docker tutorial or a Django tutorial, so I really don't want to go too deep into any of that stuff. By the way, I'm using Bootstrap, so I've got an index file, and it's using, as you can see, just using Bootstrap. I've pulled in the htmlx from the CDN just to make it quick. Pull it in from the CDN. All I've got is a container. It has a form there, has an input type that's going to take a to-do. I've got a div that's going to actually show the to-dos. I've got an ID. The ID is called to-dos data, and this is the bit I want to explain. So in htmlx, let me let's go to the docs. If I look at the docs, so build libraries without actually using any JavaScript, and you can see what the documentation. A button can actually make a get or a post request depending on what kind of protocol you want. So if I wanted to get, I'd do hx -get, for example. The trigger is the actual event. The target, what do I want to do when the HTML comes back from the server? Swap, what I want to swap. Do I want to swap the inner HTML? Do I want to swap the outer HTML? That's pretty much in a nutshell of how HTML works. So if you look at my code here, you'll see that I've got this div, right, and it's called to-dos data. It makes a get request to a URL, and this is Django terms. Think of the endpoint being sort of, you know, whatever your domain is, and then to do slash add to do. Add, think of it as add. That's basically what this is. That's my URL. That's where that is pointing to. Yeah. So points there. I see the target. What's the target? In this case, the target is the div itself. So in htmlx, you can do this thing called this. I think it's pretty much JavaScript. If you use JavaScript, you know what the this keyword is, just referencing itself, sort of. And I'm saying hx swap the inner HTML, swap whatever the div is, whatever's inside it, swap it for what comes back from the server. And the trigger, what's the trigger going to be? It's going to be load. So when the page loads. So let me just start this up and show you what this looks like. Let's start this up, and if I go to 82, you can see I've got these two do's. So these two are coming from this bit you see here, or this these li items, li elements, sorry, not items. God, can't get my words out. Is coming from this bit of htmlx here. Points it, gets the response back, and you can actually see down here in my terminal, it makes a request to add. Now, even though it says add, and it's kind of, maybe I've got the wording wrong, it's actually making a get request, therefore it's returning all the to-do items, and that's what's happening here. So in the whole JavaScript world, you would have to do something like, take this one for example. So on the form, I'm telling the form to make a request, a post request to this same URL, and trigger is going to be submit. hx target is to do's, which is this div here. So the idea is when someone creates a new to do, go create it, but come back and populate this with the new stuff and the old stuff. So you're kind of appending, and then swap the inner HTML. So in the JavaScript world, you would have to, I don't know, you would maybe do a script tag like so, you know what I mean? You'd have to do something like that and do sort of get the form's click event, submit event, sorry. You'd have to do something like, what's the ID here? Let's say, I know I got an ID. Let's say I had an ID of, I'm just showing you. I mean, you probably know if you're a JavaScript developer, you know what I mean. You'd have an ID there, and you do document.get element by ID, and you do test, right? You do get element by ID, and you do test, and then you add event. Here will be submit, and then you kind of now make the post request to this URL down here. So you would have to write all of this JavaScript to get this form to post to this URL. What htmlx is doing is saying, no, you don't have to do any of that. You put these, what are they called? I'm not sure what they're called. I'm trying to think what they're actually called. Are they triggers? No, they're not triggers. What are they actually called? Oh, so they're just attributes. So they've created attributes that allow you to use AJAX requests directly from HTML. Right. So they've created attributes that you can use to make AJAX requests, and that AJAX request returns HTML. Right. Okay. So that's what's happening. I'm adding these attributes that htmlx provides, and I'm kind of doing all of this stuff. So yeah, so that's making the request. On the back end, I've got a to-do app, and I've got 3 views. So the first one is the add to-do, where you add a to-do. If the request is a post request, all I really do is take the title and then add it to the database. on the response, whether it's a get or a post, I'm actually returning HTML. And you kind of see it here. I create a UL, I loop over all the to-dos in the database. I create an ID for each li, which is going to be the to-do ID. I set the title, put the title there. I have the span tag that just shows whether the to-do has been completed or not. And even for that, I'm giving it an ID of completed and then the ID of the to-do. And here I just print out the to-do, whether it's completed or not. And then these two are going to be buttons. You see down here, they're going to be buttons. And I'm adding attributes to them again. So hx get, that says when you click this button, I want you to go to completed, which is this one down here, completed, and I want you to whatever comes back from there, swap it with this. So this says go to completed to do the event you're going to use is a click event. So someone clicks the button. The target is going to be completed.toDoPK, which is this span tag, is what I'm actually pointing the target at, because when you click that completed, I want to change this text here to completed or true or false. That's what this is. And I'm saying swap the outer HTML, which is going to be this. Swap that. And then on the delete, I've got a delete button that points to this view down here that says to do delete, passes the PK or the ID of the to do, and I'm saying a click event target is going to be the to do item, which is actually this, the list item, because obviously if someone's clicking the delete, I need to remove the to do, which is a li item, so I need to point it to this. And hx swap, instead of swapping the outer HTML or inner HTML, I'm actually just saying delete, which means delete whatever you're pointing to, in this case the li. And on the views for the completed one, I just set the the to do item to either true or false, depending on how many times you click that button. And what I'm doing is I'm returning just a new span tag, because it's pointing to this. Right? If you notice here, I'm actually pointing it to this element. So, and I'm saying swap the outer HTML, and it works. So then what I do is I swap it with what comes back, and when I say come back, all is going to be is true or false. I'm swapping that with that, and I return the HTML. On the delete, I don't have to do anything because I'm just removing the item, so I just return empty HTML. So how does this work? Okay, so let's have a look at this. So you can see if I add another one, call it 12, add. Keep an eye on the URL. There is no page refresh that you would have in, like, say, a Django app. If I add 14, no refresh. Now if I want to toggle this and say, hypothetically my to do is number 14, and I want to toggle this and say I've completed this to do, I hit mark as complete, and notice it's gone to true. If I refresh, 14 is true, mark as complete, 12 true. If I want to delete it, delete it, delete it. So as you can see, I am getting that that SP or single page application effect without writing a single line of JavaScript. So to do this, I would have had what? I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I would have to write get the form in JavaScript via its ID, create an event handler, which is going to be the submit event. Submit it to that URL, get a response, take that response and either manipulate the DOM with adding li items. I would have to do that. Mark as complete, I would have to send a request back to the server, complete it, do whatever, and then swap the UI again with JavaScript. So a couple of for loops there or whatever it might be. And the delete again, I'd have to. So you see what I mean? That layer of JavaScript sitting in the middle, I would have to do to manipulate this DOM. I don't have to do anymore. And that's what I think makes it so cool. The idea that I could just do all of this from a view, I really like. I must say, I really like it. So yeah, so what do you think? Do you think it will replace JavaScript? I love it. I've only been playing around with it for a day. I already love it. So yeah, let me know what you think. Leave your comments. Let me know what you think. Will it actually replace JavaScript? And give it a shot. Try it out. Don't go, oh, it's really rubbish, without actually using it. Definitely try it out. So yeah, that was my my little to-do test. I really like it. So yeah, let me know what you think. So yeah, there we go. What did you think? Did you like what you saw? I really liked it. The idea of not writing JavaScript, even though I like writing JavaScript, the idea that I don't have to do all of that and still get that kind of effect and just concentrate on the back end. Yeah, I'm a big fan now. Not a big fan. I still have to use it a lot more in like big applications and see if it can really can we get a lot more people using it, sort of, you know what I mean? It's all right to do a small to-do app, but can you maintain state like React can do? React does that very, very well. Can we achieve all of that stuff that React and Angular can do is the big question, and until it's not put to the test, it's hard to answer. But for a to-do app, can I replace JavaScript? Absolutely. As I've just shown you, I've not written a single line of JavaScript, and it works very well. It's quite easy, I must say, quite easy. So yeah, what do you think? Leave your comments. Let me know what your thoughts are. If you like what you saw, give me a like. Follow me, and I will be putting out more videos. So this channel is going to be all about tech stuff, trying out new tech. I love just messing around with new stuff and seeing, what's good or bad about it and things like that. So yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.